Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. We're doing it. Another week. Here we go. Welcome, welcome. How we all doing? How we feeling? Thank you. Finally, I get it. We're using those reaction buttons. I love it. Love it. If that's all you can muster right now, I will take it. Cool. All right. Well, we've got a whopping 6 of us here. So thanks for being gonna be 7. Slow. The waiting room is slow this morning. So don't know what's up there. All right. On up. I do think it's funny, like most people roll in, within 5 minutes or whatever of 8:30, but don't tell them I said so, but Omar, every day it's like 8:45, like really consistently. So sleeping in. Goodness. It's important to be here on time, but whatever. All right. Some reminders about this week's to-dos. Since I say it every day, why not start there? Your OSAC application, keep filling that out, get things you need. If you haven't gotten your transcripts yet, that's fine. Your counselors will get those in, probably not until January. Somebody said that yesterday, like about I need my transcript, but we kind of want to wait because you need your semester's grades. And so they'll probably want those before you submit. Keep in mind the OSAC doesn't close until February, the early bird at least. And so we have plenty of time. We're just getting this stuff done now because it makes sense in this order to do things to get our financial house in order before we start thinking about college applications, which is why we're not doing this now. If you haven't, again, watched those step-by-step video around the 10-minute mark, it gets really helpful as far as how the OSAC application works once you've put in your personal information and how to add certain scholarships. So go back and watch that if you have not. Does anybody have any questions about the OSAC still? We had some good ones yesterday, so I just want to see if there's any outstanding questions because we're not going to dig into it as much in the future like we have this week to set it up. So any final questions? I like free money. I hope you do too. So get that done. Obviously, it's not going away. It's just that our focus continually is shifting to different things and we start to talk about them less, but that doesn't mean they're any less important. So that opens up a whole new world of scholarships for you. You won't know, obviously, if you get any of those until like March, April. Early action, we're going to talk a little bit about that kind of today because you asked for it, or I asked if you'd be interested in it, and you said yes, that you would be interested in taking some time today to actually walk through the application process for Western Oregon University. So the reason I've chosen that university, they don't have an application, so I'll apply, and there's no harm, no foul. If you get in, great. If you don't, you didn't lose anything. But I thought we could walk through the entire application process today, at least until it sort of stops me at some point. I have not filled it out yet because I wanted to be able to create my account along with you and you see what it looks like to process from the very beginning. The reason that we've chosen Western Oregon is not only because there's no application fee, but because they're the only school this year that's going to offer instant admission. So you do proceed and do apply and finish your application for Western Oregon, you need to do a couple things. So you'll need to sign up for an appointment if you want to participate in the November 18th instant admission day, and you'll need to contact Ms. Chin as well. So there's a couple things on your to-do list if you do want to go forward with the instant admission. You can still apply to Western Oregon regardless. And if you don't want to do or can't get it done in time, you'll still start the application today. So really, I want us to all take a crack at this. Okay, so there's nothing you're gonna lose by starting a college application, and you'll get to see what it looks like. So any questions? Like, this is gonna be what we do today. We're gonna fill out a college application together, okay? So I'm gonna be walking through the process and showing you on my screen, but that isn't to say you have to be looking at my screen. You can be just listening and following along and filling out your own application. So any questions before we get going? We're gonna get right to it. Okay, so first thing, folks, is to go to their website, which I will put into our chat here. So pretty easy, westernoregonuniversity.edu, which all colleges have that .edu ending. So when you go to a college website, which we have spent the last 4 years in some capacity doing projects around, going to college websites, researching, this is what a 4-year university's website will look like. We should be somewhat familiar with that. And we always want to go to the admissions page if it's a school you're interested in actually applying to. What you may want to look at first is if this is even realistic for you. So you may check out the academics first, right? See if they even offer a program or a degree that is of interest to you. Cost is always something that is of interest. We know that Western Oregon is a very reasonably priced school for a 4-year university. Its advantages, like I've talked about, are that they offer great financial packages, that they are away from home. So if you're looking for that college experience at not the U of O or OSU price, Western Oregon is a great option. People love the campus. They love the small class sizes. I think I saw in here the class size average is 18 students per class. So if you want or would like to have small class sizes, this is a great opportunity or a great college for you. Some people prefer the giant lecture halls of 300 or 400 students. So that might be, how you're feeling. And so maybe this isn't the right one for you. But either way, whether you ultimately want to apply to this school or not, I don't think there's any harm in doing it and seeing how you do and what kind of financial package you get. So you go to admission and then you apply for fall 2021. Okay. Do we want a little time to poke around the website before I launch into this? Okay, I'll give you like 3 or 4 minutes. Yes, okay. I'll give you a little time to poke around the website. I'll stop sharing my screen so it makes it maybe a little easier for you. So poke around the website, go look at what they offer, maybe look at cost, and then at like 8:43, we'll pick up and go through this. And then be asking questions. So if you have questions that are popping up, feel free to unmute, feel free to ask your questions. This is where we're at if you're just joining us. We're on Western Oregon University's website, checking things out. This school may or may not be on your top 5. Even if it isn't, I think maybe it's one you've not considered, and maybe give it a peek. So if you're looking at cost, you'll see the tuition is quite low. It's under $10,000. All of the money from schools that are schools you're not going to live at home, the cost comes from housing. So housing alone is $10,800. So all told, with all of your expenses, they're estimating around $24,600 to be your fee. That's for first year, obviously. So if you were living on campus, if you were to live off campus at some point, that would vary. And again, they offer really generous financial packages to attend. For the majors, you can view by category. I recommend doing that. It sort of breaks things up by department, so you can click on what seems appealing to you. And you want to be looking at majors primarily. So a major, what you major in is what your degree will be in. Minors are something you can add on to your 4-year degree. They take less classes, less work. So you could major in, let's say, business and have a minor in legal studies. And that still looks good, but it just shows that you did enough work to be knowledgeable in that particular subject area, but not necessarily enough to, launch a career in that specific area. Like I have a major in English and a minor in women's studies, which I don't know what kind of job I'd get with that, but. Got a question about academics, so let me go see what you're talking about there. So, where are you seeing that? Are you just seeing that in the list of? Yeah. Okay, so I'm getting a question about the early childhood. So you can minor in early childhood studies, it looks like, for people who aren't going into the education field. I would not necessarily think that that's most of you, what you'd want to do, unless you were pursuing like some other degree, but you had, you liked taking care of kids. So you'd probably be looking at the early education or early childhood studies non-licensure. So that second one, it says you have an interest in working with children birth through 8 as a teacher or in some other capacity. Yeah. So that's a 4-year degree. That second one, that early childhood studies, is a 4-year degree. You wouldn't be able to go teach like elementary school with just that degree because in Oregon, they require your master's degree to get into like a school classroom, but you could take that early childhood studies degree and go immediately work in like a daycare facility or whatever and kind of work through your master's degree. So that's the difference there. One's a minor, one's a 4-year degree. Cool. Good question. Other questions coming up out there? Any degrees that aren't making sense or you have questions about? We can figure this out together. What is what is women's studies? I missed that. Sorry. Women's studies is essentially you take a bunch of classes about women authors or essentially women's issues of any variety. Covers a wide range of topics and just how things have either progressed or not over time. Looking particularly at how like government and institutions treat women and have treated them historically. So that's it basically. It was really fun. Made me a bit of a feminist, huh? Which is not a bad word, by the way. All right. Do we want more time to poke around or should we start the application process? Okay, again, even if you don't plan on going here, it is not going to do any harm to at least start the application process. Use this as practice almost. So because there's no application fee, it's not like it's going to hurt anything. So just so you can see what the process looks like, I recommend we all try this. My question to you is, do you want me to share my screen so you can see like what I'm doing and walking through the process, or because I have two screens that I work on. So like it's easy for me to see everything, but I don't know if when I share my screen, it like makes it hard for you to be working at the same time. So do you want me to share my screen? Yes, okay, cool. All right, so I'm sharing my screen. I think that's what yes means to this. Okay. Okay, here it is. Just getting everything set up here. All right. So again, we'll go to admission and you'll just need to apply for fall 2021. So I would just hit that red button and you're going to be an undergraduate. That means you're going to be looking at a 4-year degree, right? So we want to start a new online application unless you have already started your online application, then you would continue. So it'll take us to this basic page. Again, it's going to ask you to create a password. So you need to be keeping track of these passwords because you're applying to a million different places, whether it's scholarships or college stuff. So write it down or put it somewhere safe in a Google Doc or something. I did link to a few days ago a password tracker that Miss Perez shared, but it's kind of buried in our stuff. So, all right, let's go. I'm going to be applying to college. So anytime you see something without a little asterisk, it's not required, though you can put it if you want. I don't have a preferred name really. Okay, so now it wants my social security number, which I have to unshare my screen. I'll put that in last because I ain't trying to put my social security number out there. All right, I'm gonna put my personal email so I don't start getting stuff at school. Fall 2021, that's when we're applying. Login name, I'll do what my name is for everything here. And then your password. Try and make your passwords unique to each website for security reasons. Question for password retrieval. So I'm going to unshare my screen just for a moment so I can get these more personal, pertinent things filled out here so that we can proceed. But you need to get your social security number. You got to have that to move on. So if you have not committed your social security number to memory yet, you have to do that. That's just one of those things you're going to have to memorize and know as an adult because you need it for everything. If you're wondering what they mean by question for password retrieval, they want you to come up with your own question and answer for that. I'm very paranoid all the time about those questions for retrieval because I don't want it to be something that someone could like research on the internet and find the answer to. So I favor things like who was my favorite childhood pet or something, like things that nobody would know except me and couldn't go find out on the internet. So that's what mine's gonna be. Okay. So I think I've done it. I think I can share my screen again. Okay. So once you submit that page, it shows you a thank you message. You did it. Now go log in. Do we need more time here? Should I pause? All right, if you're just joining us, we are on Western Oregon University's website and we're starting to fill out a college application. So join us. Oh, sorry, I private message that. Huh. Okay. Do we need more time? I guess we'll just sit here until we all die. No, okay. All right. So mine automatically, I had to save it, which is fine. So I can go ahead and log in. So once you've done that, it says, thanks for applying. We're glad you're here. You can fill this out all at once or on your own schedule. We hope you find it easy. There are no essay questions or complicated subsections to complete. You can be on your way to a Western Oregon degree before you know it. Please be sure to fill out all required fields accurately and completely in order to ensure the admissions staff is able to process your application without delay. If you have difficulties at any time, call us and let's get started. So it's confirming I'm applying for fall 2021. You can change the term if you messed up. And then it has all of these fields that I need to go through. So let's start from the top, right? Name. Previous last name. I do have one of those. So I'll do that. Okay, next. Many of you probably don't have maiden names, so don't have to worry about that. All right, so it's asking for, then it just shows it, cool. It's asking for all this personal information here. So I'm gonna unshare real quick because it's got my personal information. So the next section is the personal info, needs your date of birth, which you should know, hopefully. I'm gonna have to go way, way back here, 2020. How are they? Okay, so you can go back by year. I'm so old, guys, 1986. Oops. All right, it wants to know your birthplace, your social, your email. You can identify your legal sex or not, your gender identity or not. Hit me with questions as they're coming up here. I'm just on section 2. Okay, so on section 2, obviously it indicate your, if you, at that bottom section, many of you are gonna put no, are your parents graduates from college? That's important, okay? It can open you up to more scholarships. Okay. So I'm unsharing just because there's a lot of personal information you have to put in here. So I will reshare once we get past that. I'm on section 3. So this asks for your address and phone numbers. You live in Washington County, by the way. You can click on section 3 if your address for your permanent address and your mailing address are the same. It'll just automatically populate that next section. So that makes life a little easier. I don't have to do anything with section 4 because I clicked that check mark and it automatically did that for me. The phone numbers, by the way, don't all have asterisks. They just need one phone number. So you don't really need to worry about putting in cell phone, work phone, that kind of stuff. Section 5 asks for contact information. So probably a parent or legal guardian would be your top choice. I'm going to do a spouse for mine. And if your legal guardian or parent doesn't live at the same address as you, you do need that information. Though if you don't have it right now, obviously you can go back to it when you do get that. All right, this is where things get tough. Section 6, major or career objective. So on section 6, where they're asking for you to choose a major, this is not binding. Okay, so it's asking what is your preferred course of study right now. You can even choose exploratory for no major declared. Okay, so you don't have to pick a major if you honestly don't know, though I have to say, you guys, judging by your personal statements, even those of you who said you're not quite sure, it sounded like you kind of knew. So, you know, you may not feel certain, but it sounds like a lot of you are pretty much there. So here's the deal with picking a major. Okay, you can pick a major at any time. So you can be undeclared for the first probably 2 years of your work in college, and then you have to pick something because eventually you'll run out of general studies classes that you like need to take, and you'll have to start picking classes for a major to continue. The only advantage of claiming a major earlier is that, like, for me, I went into college as a nursing major, right? And so I was automatically what they call grandfathered in to all of the requirements for the nursing degree at that time, which I think that was in 2004, right? So I was declared nursing major in 2004. So if they made it, like if they added classes in 2005 to get the degree, I didn't have to do those because I was grandfathered in to that previous requirement. And so I only needed to do what I needed to do in 2004. I didn't have to do the new requirements that came up as I was going through that program. However, I changed majors, right? So I changed majors in 2005 to become an English major. And so I sort of missed the boat a little bit on that. And there was a class or two I had to take that I wouldn't have had to take if I'd just gone in as an English major. But at the end of the day, it was fine. I mean, I got my degree still in 4 years and I was on my way. So it's not a big deal if you change your major, and you can do that at any time throughout your college career. You can do it multiple times if you need to. If you are you interested in a degree partnership program? So the degree partnership program is, I assume, where you would take some classes at a community college that are fully transferable to the Western Oregon. This may change your funding a little bit, but it is not the same as the Oregon Promise. So you would be taking some classes at a community college, some of them at Western. So if that does interest you, you can put that you're interested in doing that. It might be a way to save money. It might not. So I don't know enough about it, but I can tell you what it is. So somebody had a question, what is that? You'd be taking some classes on a community college campus, some of them on the Western campus. This could be beneficial if there are classes that get filled up at Western Oregon quickly, then they might be offered at the community college, which could lead to you being able to finish quicker. So that might be an advantage of that, and then potentially cost as well. So for most of you, I would say probably not necessary, but if you click you're interested, it is not going to lock you into anything. It just shows an interest. So they'll provide more information for you. You probably would be doing Chemeketa Community College, or yeah, I assume you'd be living on campus. So Lynn Benton's not near Western, and neither is Clackamas. So I'm going to put not interested for now. questions about anything so far? You may notice I don't think any of you are interested in like English or international studies, but there's multiple degrees that they offer in some of these. So if you have questions about those, please ask. Chemistry, multiple areas you could choose there. So let me know if you have questions. Okay. I'm going to move on to section 7. I think I can probably start to share my screen again here. All right, section 7 is asking questions about your high school location. Expected graduation date for most everybody is June 2021, though for some of you is probably February 2021. I know there's some people who plan on finishing up this semester. You do need to have your cumulative unweighted GPA. You can find that in Student View under course history. It has your GPA listed up top, both weighted and unweighted. The difference between those is if you took AP classes, you might have a different weighted than unweighted GPA. And to my knowledge, none of you are receiving a modified diploma. I'm putting 3.0 just because this is not a real application for me. But obviously put yours, whatever it is. By the way, my GPA was not 3.0 in high school. It was lower. Can you actually graduate in February? Yeah, if you have enough credits. So that would have required, so ironically, the thing that's going to keep you from graduating probably in February would be a 0.5 language arts credit. Everybody needs 4 full credits of language arts. So unless you doubled up this first semester, it's not necessarily possible to do that. But yeah, in theory, I mean, you could walk away if you doubled up at some point with everything you needed. Because you only need 3 years of science and history and all that. So it is possible. Okay. So they want to know your senior year courses. Let's see. Only 2021 high school graduates are required to complete this, which is you. Okay. So this is a little tricky because we're working on a quarter system right now. But go ahead and fill this in with anything that's relevant. So in this one, you're just going to add in your courses that you're taking. I know it says fall and spring term. We're working on quarters right now, so might not need that. Yeah, that's a good question, Juan. I was wondering the same thing. I would put 1 as the units. I'm not quite sure what they want from that, but ultimately you'll be receiving 1 credit. So I would put 1 there. And obviously, if you're not taking like a history class this year or a science class, don't put anything. Normally we would put fall and spring, right? Because you're taking a year-long course, but we're only going to put 1 for whichever it is that whenever you're taking it, whether it's fall or spring. And typically, let me see if this is possible. Yeah, so typically you'd put 0.5 for each and it would equal 1, but in this case, you're getting it done in 1 semester. Here, I'll put these. And the only check mark you'll need to put in at the bottom of that probably is if you're taking an AP class. We don't have IB classes. We're not in Washington. And I don't think any of you are doing the Willamette Promise. So if you are, mark it. All right, unless you've taken any college courses, you don't have to worry about Section 9. You just need to indicate you've not attended any college or university. If you have received credit from a course you took through PCC or something, you'll have to give them that information because they'll want to pull those transcripts and those credits. Though I don't think any of us did that, so. Okay, I'm in section 11, which is exam info. So again, only put in your SAT, ACT scores if you think they're something that's going to help your case rather than hurt it. If you didn't do so hot, just skip it, right? This is optional this year. And so you don't need to put that information in. They don't actually even want your scores. They want the date you took them. All right, so section 12 is asking about residency, meaning Oregon residency. So they want to know if you're an in-state or out-of-state student, and they're going to want some receipts on that. So they're going to want dates that you've lived in Oregon, your Oregon driver's license date that it was issued. Your date of Oregon voter registration would be the same as your driver's license date. Okay, I got a good question. So somebody already had submitted their application and they only listed their core subjects. It only asks for your core subjects, so that's fine. they want to make sure that you're going to meet the requirements for their school, which doesn't seem to include like your electives and stuff. They'll get that information when they get your transcript. So it should not be a problem. Okay. So on section, 12, I don't know what they mean by this. Student employer in Oregon. I'd leave those blank. I don't think those apply to you. Lists the last 2 years Oregon income taxes were filed. So if you filed for taxes, you're going to have to list those years or a year if it only applies to one of those. So anything that's applicable, none of this is, most of you would say no. I think all of you to military service. All right. Oh, these, okay. Student employer in Oregon is like, who were you employed by? Where did you work if you worked? That's, duh, that makes sense. So list your last 2 employers if applicable. And then it wants your parents' information. Okay, so you're going to need to enter some of their information, which you may not have right now, right? So if you don't have that information or can't fill that in right now, you can still continue on and go back to this. You just can't submit until you get that in. So you are going to need your parents' driver's license number, or sorry, just the issue date. And you can duplicate that for their date of Oregon voter registration. Should be fine. List their 2 employers and the dates for that. And then for most everybody, as long as your parents are paying taxes, which you found out when you filled out the FAFSA, you can list those here, probably 2019, 2018 for these. Keep in mind, you haven't filed your taxes for 2020 yet. So if you are putting in the last 2 years of dates, it would start with the most recent being 2019 and going back from there. And if your parents served in the military, obviously indicate yes. Yes, so if you are, oh, hold on, what did I do? You must choose yes or no. Sorry, I'm having a hard time getting back off the. Yeah, so for a recent physical presence, just put to this month, yeah, from birth, if that was the case. If it was like you moved here when you were 5, count backwards and figure out, you know, what year that was. So for the senior year courses, do we list down all the courses it's asking for this whole year? So it's only asking for the categories, your core categories essentially, plus foreign language. So if those apply to you, then you put them in. So like first term, maybe I'm taking, like first semester, I'm taking with Bible, AGS 3, and AP APES, right? So like I would list those in the fall term category. And then in the spring term, maybe I'm taking AP Gov and AP Spanish. So I would list those in the spring term, but it does not look like it's asking you for a complete course schedule. So just put in what they're requesting. Yep. All right, so it looks like that residency status might be the one section that is going to require some extra work, if nothing else, because it's asking you for info from your parent or guardian. And then section 13, it's to your advantage to advise us of any special circumstances early in the admission process, especially if you do not meet one or more of the admission requirements. An optional one-page statement is suggested if you have special circumstances. When you're finished, click next to navigate to the next section, back to navigate to the previous, blah, blah, blah. If your high school or college performance was affected by special circumstances, such as a documented disability, serious illness, or other extenuating circumstances, please enter a statement to summarize your situation. Include dates when applicable. So for some of us, we don't meet the minimum application requirements. So this is your chance to plead your case. So if you have a GPA lower than 3.0, you need to do that. It says students with a cumulative GPA below 3.0 are required to provide a personal statement or a letter of recommendation from a high school teacher or their counselor. So this is good news because some schools shut you off, right? They just say, we don't accept folks who are applying that have below a certain GPA. They are open to hearing your case, to looking at you as a whole person, thinking about the activities you've been involved in or the kind of person you are, or any circumstances that maybe impacted your performance in high school. So whatever the reason that you did not get a 3.0 or above, whether that was because you got put on an IEP late and weren't getting the services that you needed to be successful in high school, or if it was a health issue or a family issue, right? You need to be very open in this process and tell them what was any barrier that you've been facing. You have to plead your case here, okay? Which is fine, because if you get in and it's what you want, then that's great. The same is true if I don't know if it's possible to get a 3.0 and this not be true, but they want a C- or pass grade minimum for 4 years of English, 3 in math, 3 in science, 3 in social studies, 2 in a foreign language. It does say here they do want your ACT or SAT scores if you have below a 3.0, or it's encouraged. But again, the exception that's being made this year is because of COVID. So that is not necessarily applicable. All right, so some of you will be filling this out, okay? 2,000 characters. You can use some of the stuff from your personal statement, I would say in here. Before you submit this though, or fill it out completely, send me what you write, okay? I'd like to get my hands on it. All right, so once you do that, if it applies to you, there's a final check. It says you've completed all sections of the online application for admissions. You may now submit your application for review. Caution, after submitting this application for review, you will no longer be allowed to edit data you have entered. You will now be required to fill out a signature page verifying your information. Then you can authorize that they can release information to parents or legal guardians or not. And then once you're sure, you can submit your application. So here's what happens, guys. this goes off into the universe, into the admissions department's hands, and they look over a bunch of stuff. If we're filling this out with the intention of the November 18th instant admission, you're going to need to sign up for an appointment, and you're going to need to contact Miss Chin. She's going to get them your transcripts so they can review that and see if they need more information before they would accept your application, or if you know on November 18th that you are in. Okay. Okay. So we walked through the whole process here. Either you were doing your own thing, hopefully, and getting this done as well. And this is what it looks like. So this is a fairly, not simple necessarily, but this is a straightforward application. They don't require letters of rec and things like that. But as long as you have those, it's a pretty easy process to just, attach them once you have them, and get them into the website's database. So all college applications are pretty similar in that way, depending on if they require extra essays or letters of rec. But this is what it looks like. This is what applying to college looks like. So now, once you submit, it's just a waiting game of getting the funding, seeing what kind of financial package each school is going to give you. And then you get to weigh your options and go where it is your heart wants to take you. So it depends on the experience you want out of college, whether you want to leave home, whether you want to stay here, go to a 2-year associate's route, or go a 4-year. So this is it. Okay, so pretty exciting that we are at this point. So that's all I wanted us to do today. All right. That's all I wanted. It's like 9:30. So you can stick around if you have questions or whatever. It is scary, but you know what? Don't overthink it. Okay. So it's not, you guys, I get it. I get nervous still, like filling out my taxes and stuff, but you can always go back, even if you submit, and just write to the admissions office and say, oh, I'm unsure about something on my application. Can we work together? And they're very happy to work with you. So they're so demanding. What do you mean? About what? Like all the info they want? I mean, yeah, they got to get it. So we have lots of time to apply for colleges. Okay. We're just getting the process started because this one in particular is offering us something that no other school is, which is that instant admission. So hopefully by applying to more schools, it'll get less scary, and the things they're asking of you will feel less demanding as it becomes more familiar. But you can do this. We can do hard things, and we've got to do hard things because that's how we grow. So thanks for coming along the ride. You can leave if you like, stick around if you're still working and have questions. Otherwise, have a great weekend. Relax, rest, breathe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. All right, stick around if you need help with something, have questions. Otherwise, I'll see ya. All right. Let's see. Danette, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of stuck on the student information with like the tuition for like enrollment. Like, do I put like my driver's license if I have one, or
Yes.
okay? So, and for the voter registration, what do I put that?
So in Oregon, that's easy because when you get your driver's license, you're also registered to vote. So those dates would be the same.
Okay. And for like the student employer in Oregon, is that just like?
That's if you worked at all.
If I worked.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Damali, how you doing?
Thank you, Ms. Mathis. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Good.
Good. Do you have questions? How's it coming?
Good so far.
Okay. Where are you at in the process?
I'm still putting in some information.
Okay, cool. Yeah, our intention is not necessarily to submit like right now, but just to get things going, get the ball rolling. So yeah, just keep on plugging along. If you've got weird circumstances, obviously ask me or Ms. Perez, we'll work it out.
Okay, thank you.
Toby, how's it going? Sometimes Toby's not there. Are you there, Toby? He does this sometimes.
I'm here.
You're there. Okay. Sometimes when we end class, you're there, but like, I don't know if you're there, you know?
Well, sometimes I don't have like the Zoom thing actually like pulled up so I can just hear it, and I have to go and find the window.
Okay. Got it. Are you filling out the application?
Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, oh, I don't really meet all the requirements, and I don't think I will. And then you said the thing at the end about how like there's the thing that can help you like make up for it.
Mhm.
So I think I'm gonna go through and fill it out.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the application process is pretty straightforward, fairly easy as far as college apps go. So shouldn't take you too long. And then what will take a little time though is the like making your case. So you do need to write a little essay saying, and talk about, like your family business, how much time or stress or whatever that's, caused. And you can talk about your involvement in drama, like, you were really involved in school, and really just like how much like they can see the trends, but also like, how you grew over time academically should count for something too. So point out all those things.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, so I have one more question.
Yeah.
For the it's asking like the last 2 years Oregon income taxes were filed. Is that like when I started working?
So that's if you paid taxes. So yeah, you would only have filed taxes if you were working. So did you file taxes in like January, February, March?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and then was that your first time or had you done it before?
That was my first time.
Okay, so you only filed in 2019. That would be all you need to put.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you. I'll let you go.
Okay, yeah, if you have any other questions or run into anything, just let me know. I'm here.
All right, thank you.
Have a good
Bye. You too.